complaining.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Dan. And by the way, that sounded like his mom complaining. Yeah. And if, I guess we can reorient.
Yeah, let's reorient.
Give us a few moments. We're gonna, yeah.
Is that okay? Is that what you prefer?
I'm of the I don't care at this point.
Oh, here, Rose.
I shouldn't put out my hands.
We'll just kind of do this for a second. You guys, what's the milk? It's water. Oh, good.
Yeah, it's possible.
The blankets get a little warm, so now we move out of the way. Yeah, I'm not a big sitter of these things. You don't have to. If anybody else needs to sit.
Check.
Oh, you're here? Yeah, I need a pen or something. Yeah.
Double-sided tape.
I was thinking of thumbtack. Do you, could I ask everybody who is wearing a ribbon to put this?
We haven't yet.
Okay. There's, Dave here also. Are you expecting him?
He landed a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Ribbon to bring home for Dave.
And also Mia.
Oh, and also Mia. So 2 more, please. Thank you. You guys want to sit down?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to now. She's out for blood. Almost out for blood.
Stabbed myself with it.
Good job. Ka-chow. Oh, thank you.
God, I hope those are napkins.
Kleenex. Kleenex is fine. Yeah.
And friends, before we begin the service, if you have a cell phone or a pager, we would ask you to please take a moment to make sure that it's off or in the silent position or the silent mode. And officiating today's services will be Rabbi Max Weiss from Oak Park Temple.
Somebody's still going.
I think Mom knows where she's going.
There's a tradition among our people that when our hearts are torn, we show that inner tearing with an outward sign, which is why we wear the ribbon of Korea. If you don't tear it about halfway through, there's a blessing that we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Dayan Hamet.
Well, apparently we will have a tree removal in the background.
It's what you would have wanted.
Yeah, it's, knowing Josette a little bit, it's would play into her sense of humor. Today we gather to remember Josette Faingold and join our hearts together to give comfort to her family. Mourning is a time filled with many emotions and memories, both bitter and sweet. We begin our service with the recitation of psalms and prayers, linking Josette's life with the millennia-old tradition of the people Israel and the eternity of God. In the book of Ecclesiastes, we read that the eye never has its fill of seeing. Young or old, those who depart this life never see enough of the world, never complete their task, never cherish their loved ones enough before they are called home. How they yearn for yet another respite from the final summons, and how we yearn to have them close to us for yet another challenge in our lives, yet another joy, yet another precious moment together. God, be now with those whose hearts are broken, because whenever parting comes, it comes too soon. Console them at this moment. Be near to them when light seems distant. Sustain them, O God, until the time of healing. Amen. Also in Ecclesiastes, we read, L'chol zman ve'et l'chol chefetz tachat hashamayim. There is a time for everything, a time for every experience under heaven, a time for being born and a time for dying, a time for planting and a time for uprooting the planted, a time for destroying and a time for healing, a time for tearing down and a time for building up, a time for weeping and a time for laughing, a time for wailing and a time for dancing, a time for throwing stones and a time for gathering stones, a time for embracing and a time for refraining from embraces, a time for seeking and a time for losing, a time for keeping and a time for discarding, a time for tearing and a time for sowing, a time for silence and a time for speaking, a time for loving and a time for hating, a time for war and a time for peace. We'll join together now in Psalm 23. You can find it on the inside of your booklets. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Adonai ma'adam v'teda'ehu, ben enosh v'techashvehu. Adonai, what are we that you have regard for us? What are we that you are mindful of us? We are like a breath. Our days are like a passing shadow. We come and go like grass which in the morning shoots up renewed, and in the evening fades and withers. You cause us to return to dust, saying, Return, O mortal creatures. Would that we were wise, that we understood where we are going. For when we die, we carry nothing away. Our glory does not accompany us. Mark the wholehearted and behold the upright. They shall have peace. Adonai, you redeem the souls of your servants, and none who trust in you shall be desolate. Josette did not have an easy life, but she had a meaningful life. When she was 9, she moved with her family from Luxembourg, escaping the Holocaust with papers forged by a U.S. Under Ambassador George Waller. She moved with her family to the Chicago area and graduated from Hyde Park High School. Jo almost always put others ahead of herself, and she put her kids ahead of everything, making sure that Debra, Rob, and David had stable and loving support at home. While there was often poverty and want knocking at the door, Jo did the best with what she had, working as a bookkeeper, a real estate agent, and a field interviewer to bring extra money into the house. There was always food in the house and clothes to wear. While there was not an abundance of material things, there was always an abundance of love from Jo, and Oreo cookies as a special treat. She did her best with whatever she had, in whatever circumstance she found herself. Jo was very close to her sister Colette, Coley. and they had a loving and supportive relationship. After Coley died, Jo lost an important part of herself and began to decline as well. Josette suffered with fibromyalgia from an early age and dealt with pain much of her life. She was supported by her children, and they never let her down. Debra, you took great care of your mom. We would see each other every Sunday, and when she was sick, even more. She loved her visits with Dave and with Mia. Jo and her son Rob would often speak on the phone several times a week, and you would laugh together all the time. You supported one another in care and in laughter, in love and in strength. She really loved spending time with David. Your mom shared with me, David, that you had a special teasing relationship and that you would mostly enjoy hearing about Doctor Who from you, probably because it was an excuse to be together and to hear something you were passionate about. She enjoyed her time with Mia as well when she was able to come in to visit, and it meant the world to Jo. Josette loved a good laugh, and even though she could not tell a joke to save her life, she enjoyed laughing at others' jokes. She was silly and sweet and funny and instilled those traits in her kids. She really enjoyed her time at Belmont Village and made a lasting impact there. She worked to get to know people and let them know her. She cared for people and they felt it. She enjoyed her bingo and reading and singing and playing mahjong, but mostly she just loved people. When they had the opportunity to visit her in the hospital, she just wanted to talk. She just wanted someone around to talk to be with, to laugh with. She just enjoyed being in people's presence. Mostly she enjoyed being in the presence of families. She was outgoing and friendly and fun to be around, and carried those traits with her for her whole life, always making the best of whatever situation she found herself in. May what was good in Jo's life, her loving and trustworthy nature, her sweetness, her dependability, her responsible and caring nature, remain with us and in our lives as blessings. Amen. I would ask those who are able to please stand for El Malay Rachamim. El Malay Rachamim Shochein Bamamim. Hamse Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Ashchina. Im Karoshim Utohorim Kazohar Rakia Mazhirim Et Nishmat Josette Faingold Shahalacha La'olama Ba'al Harachamim Yazireha Beseter Kanafav La'olamim Vaitror Bitor HaChaim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata V'tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. Fully compassionate God on high, to Josette Faingold, who has entered eternity, grant her clear and certain rest with you in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold her in the embrace of your wings. Secure her soul in eternity. Adonai, she is yours. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. We're going to lower the casket now, and once the casket is lowered, we're going to put in some soil from our holy city, Jerusalem, as well as mementos of things that Joe loved very much. Then we'll put the vault cover in place, and we'll have an opportunity to put shovels full of earth into the grave after we recite the mourner's Kaddish. You can be seated while this is happening if you'd like. The psalmist has written, weeping may tarry into the night, but joy comes in the morning. El Malei Rachamim. O God of compassion, send your comfort to those who grieve. Help them to dispel the sadness that accompanies the pain of loss, and to find joy in the precious memories of Josette Faingold. May your love inspire them to focus on the love they had for Joe and that Joe had for them. Help them to face the future with courage, to treasure Josette's wonderful legacy. Sustain us in your faith, O God, even in this troubling time, as you have sustained our people in times of trouble and sorrow throughout the generations. Blessed are you, Adonai, who provides comfort to the brokenhearted. Kol omer kra ve'amar ma ekra. Kol basar chatzir v'chol chastel chatzitz asadeh. Yavesh chatzer navel tzitz ki ruach Adonai nashva bo. Achein chatzir ha'am yavesh chatzer navel tzitz. V'devar Eloheinu yakum le'olam. Chatzor tamim pa'olo ki chol derachav mishpat. Mi yomar lo ma tifal. Hashlit b'matav v'ma'am emit u'mechayeh. Hatzor tamim b'chol ma'aseh. Mi yomar lo ma ta'aseh. Tzadik ata Adonai l'hamit u'l'hachayot. Asher biyadcha pigdon kol ruchot. Ata sha'alti me'et Adonai. Shiviti viveit Adonai kol yemei chayei. Lechatzot uvenos Adonai ulevaker b'yah chalo. Shema Adonai koli ekra v'chonen mi einei. I was told that Josette loved Betty Boop, and so we're going to put some Betty Boop mementos into the grave as well. Yeah, of course.
For my friends and family who know me, I'm the world's biggest fan of the Batman, and Mom was the world's biggest fan of Betty Boop. Keeps her from refrigerator at a place, so they're going with her.
We remember that we are but strangers upon the earth, Like a shadow, our life flees away. Help us, O God, so to walk in your sight, that when the few years of our earthly pilgrimage are ended, we may be ready to meet our end with a tranquil mind. To you we look for comfort and strength when one of our beloved is taken from us, and a link is broken in the chain of love which binds us together in family union. Though we walk in the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil, for you are with us. Be praised, O eternal our God, in all your dispensations, and sanctified be your name forever and ever. Amen. The dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. It is only the house of the spirit which we now lay within the earth. The spirit itself cannot die. Receive in mercy, O God, the soul of our departed Josette Faingold. Grant her that everlasting peace which you have prepared for us in the world to come. Though no human eye has seen, nor ear has heard, nor mind has grasped it, it is our sure inheritance and our everlasting portion. O God, help us to understand that grief and love go hand in hand, that the pain which loss inflicts is the measure of a love stronger than death. Though we cry in the anguish of our hearts, may we be like children who know that their parent is near and who cling unafraid to the trusted hand. In this spirit, O God, do we commit all that is precious to us to your keeping. Going to join together now in words of the Mourner's Kaddish. I'd ask those who are able once again to please stand. You can find it in the on the back of the booklets that you received as you came in. Yit gadal v'yit gadash shemei rabbah Be'alma divrach yirute v'yamlich malchute B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael Ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam omei almaya Yit barach v'ish tabach v'yit ba'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit alal shemed grisha b'richu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates peace and harmony in the heavens help us bring peace and harmony to earth. Amen. This concludes the formal part of our service. It is a tradition among our people to help with the burial. It's the last act of kindness we can show for someone in this world, to help them on their final journey in this way. I invite those who wish to come forward now to place shovels full of earth into the grave, and I invite the family to come first. It's tradition to place at least 3 shovels full of earth in.
When you come forward, please just be very careful between the boards and the ground. A little uneven.
Yeah.
She's still complaining because now she's dirty.
Yeah.
It's also going to be live streamed, and there's going to be recording, so that you can watch it. As I said, I wanted you to know that we had you in here. Definitely.
Would anyone else
Like to come forward? And this concludes our service. Those who wish can remain for the covering. Otherwise, please return to your cars.
Just as a reminder, the family will be together today upon their return from the cemetery until 8 p.m. and tomorrow from 1 until 8 at the Bobinsky residence at 722 Beach Avenue at Grange Park. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
This is going to conclude the stream. I'm going to turn it off for a second.
Okay.
And I'm sure